That term was designed and created by losers. It's a loser's term.
On today's Odd Coaches podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis share their thoughts on NBA super teams, the return of high school athletics, as well as their potential COVID punishments for college and pro football teams. Welcome to today's show. Dr. Keith Adams is the president of the CCA Safe Project, a nonprofit organization designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. He is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college levels. He has won numerous championships and epitomizes professionalism. Coach Mike Franchize Francis is one of the most successful football and basketball coaches in the state of Maryland. He too is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college level and is self-admittedly a little rough around the edges. Both men have mentored countless student athletes, teachers, and coaches using their unique methods and approaches to leadership. Both men also share a unique and special friendship that was cultivated often through their unique perspective of life and leadership. Dr. Adams through his extensive educational background and Coach Francis through his life experiences. Can these two men share a podcast without driving each other crazy? Welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast. My name is Dr. Keith Adams, founder and president of the CCA Safe Project, a nonprofit organization designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. And with me today is my tag team partner, by Brian Pillman, to my stunning Steve Austin, the icon, the showstopper, and the main event. More importantly, the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, thank you so much for giving us some time with you today. It is always a pleasure to talk to you.
It's always a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you very much. I hope you and the family are well. Let's get this thing going.
Yes, indeed. And I use Brian Pillman because he was the loose cannon, and I'm expecting some loose cannon moments today. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about NBA super teams as we wrap up the NBA season. We'll talk about the return of high school athletics, as well as some potential punishment for COVID violations in college and pro football. But let us start off, sir. This past week, the Milwaukee Bucks, despite my prediction of a Game 7, it did not come to fruition. They brought it. They won the NBA championship, and congratulations to the Bucks. You treat your big men well, they'll treat you well. But after the win, there was a lot of chatter on social media and in the news and all types of outlets about Giannis doing things the right way, and this is a great win because it wasn't with a super team. And my tag team partner was a little heated by this. I am gonna allow you the floor and not give it away for free, as somebody tells me, and tell me your thoughts on the super team and how you feel about it.
I hate the word. I hate it. I really do. As I said before, when you tweeted me and said, hey, don't give it away for free, I'm telling you, that term was designed and created by losers. It's a loser's term. Lavelle Moton, which we know is a great coach, and I tweeted and he liked it and shared it, and it's for people to make an excuse of why they didn't win. I hate it. That's number one. But number two, I think it's deeper than that. If you follow me for a second, the 87 Celtics had 4 Hall of Famers. The 89 Pistons had 4 Hall of Famers. The 88 Lakers had 3 Hall of Famers, going to be 4 eventually. Were they super teams?
They were great teams.
They were great teams. The Bulls had Jordan, Pippen. Rodman is a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer, sir.
So that's 3 Hall of Famers on that team, right?
Correct.
So the Houston Rockets, they had Akeem Olajuwon, right? Who else they had?
Clyde
Drexler, Hall of Famer. Big Shot Bob.
We're going to let that one go. Pass. Game show. I'll pass.
I'll pass to the next one. But I hate the term. I think it's bigger than that to me. the media use it, and some people in the media are using it. And I'll say it out black. I'll say it right. I think it's a knock. It's the shut up and dribble thing again. That's what it is to me. Because if a GM can put 4 Hall of Famers on a team, the issue I see people have is the power that the players have. Now the players are doing it. GMs aren't doing it. The players aren't doing it. In our day of technology, guys are tweeting each other, texting each other. They're really talking with each other, which we knew players did back then. But now, because of social media, you can see it, right? And it's more prevalent that you see those relationships. So I'm sure back in the day, these guys were like, hey, man, you need to come to Houston, or you come to Chicago, like Dennis. I mean, damn, Michael Jordan went and got him out of a hotel room. He knew he needed him. Guys knew what they needed, all right? They wasn't GMs. But and then I'm going to tell you about the whole thing. The GM with the Bulls didn't even want that team together. Let's talk about that. You saw the documentary. That GM didn't want that coach or those players together, and they still won.
Last dance, baby.
Exactly. So how big a role did he play? Like, come on, let's go. He wanted to get rid of them. I think that they take the power. They don't like the power that certain people get when they're making money. That goes back to before the NBA was created. I think that's ingrained. That's something that we can't be. It's like the black quarterback. The guy who asked Doug Williams, how long was he a black quarterback? Like, what kind of question is that? Like, so you're saying that we can't do it. Players can't do it, just like we can't coach. Players can't do it like a GM can do it because they're supposed to be business-minded or whatever. I think people are threatened by the power that certain people get, and I think it's a loser's term to try to keep people who don't win. They try to save face by saying that, oh, it's a super team. Like, KD went to Golden State, right?
KD went to Golden State.
They didn't win the year before he went. Correct?
I'm not mistaken, sir.
Exactly. You hear it all the time. Draymond called him from the parking lot after they lost. Right? Players do that. And that's what the difference is. So what do you think about it?
Well, one, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell were friends, and they had dinner together often, and that's not spoken about. But I am a broken record when I say that there is no right way, there's a preferred way. There is a lot of ways to win championships, and there's the last 2 or 3 years, there were just unique circumstances that provided a win. Toronto won, unique circumstances. The Lakers won. Bubble, unique circumstances.
Yes.
Milwaukee won. A lot of injuries, unique circumstances. But just like we're not taking away the Spurs strike shortened season title, we're not taking away this title for Milwaukee. So no, exactly. I'm not a fan of the phrase super team either. As Phil Jackson so eloquently put, why do I have to coach bad players? Who said that? I like good players, so I'm going to coach good players. So I do agree with you that the term is overblown and overrated. And when you look, you mentioned several teams. I'm going to mention my favorite team. Doc got Moses, man. And Moses took him to the promised land. And no one screamed. Everybody was happy that Doc got his ring. Now, again, they got swept in the miniseries the next year by New Jersey, but I digress. So with that being said, quit crying about super teams. And the answer to most questions, ladies and gentlemen, is either get better or do better.
Exactly.
And with that, we are going to head to
one question.
Yes, sir.
How many Hall of Famers was on that Sixers team?
Doc's in the Hall of Fame. Moses is in the Hall of Fame. If Bobby Jones is out in the Hall of Fame, you better put him in before Big Shot Bob. But that's a needle for no reason. And now
is Mo Cheeks in the Hall of Fame?
Mo Cheeks is not, to my knowledge, is in the Hall of Fame, but we're going to defer, and we'll be right back after this.
The vision of the CCA Safe Project is to use the combination of academics and athletics as a catalyst to lifelong success. Thus, the CCA Safe Project works to improve student-athlete academic and athletic performance by assisting student-athletes with transitional and transferable skills such as time management and organizational skills, along with the ability to self-advocate to help improve performance. However, we cannot do our work without the help of supporters like you. Consider donating to the CCA Safe Project. We accept tax-deductible contributions in a number of ways, including Venmo and Cash App at CCA Safe Project, or directly at the main page of our website, www.ckasafeproject.org. Simply click the donate button. We thank you in advance for your continued support.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. And in this segment, I am actually going to lead this off because this past summer, I have had the opportunity, the pleasure to get back into the gym, to get back out to watch post-COVID football, post-COVID high school basketball, because, well, I should just say basketball because my son plays both AAU basketball and he also plays youth league football. And as we transition back, I just wanted to share some of the things that I'm seeing. First of all, in terms of basketball, please, young players, please, young coaches, please take time to do skill development. I've had a chance to talk to a lot of coaches over the summer, and everybody kept telling me that COVID did this and COVID did that. COVID didn't stop anybody from using a jump rope. COVID didn't stop anybody from ball handling in the parking lot or doing chair drills or just skill development. There is such, prior to COVID, there was a dearth of, there was such a lack of skill. And this is really shown in terms of your program development, the skills that you really emphasize. I also want to say, I see a lot of zone in youth league basketball. I see a lot of zone in high school basketball, yet the plays to win the championship, or dare we say as coaches, the winning plays, were man-to-man plays with either great help side, hedging, Giannis's great block on the alley-oop and game whatever. He actually, if you looked at the play, hedged out, stopped the penetration, retreated back, anticipated the next play, and then made the block. And on the last play on the championship, Devin Booker came in with a scoop shot, which I've got no problem with. He blocked it on the way up. He blocked it again, and he blocked it to a teammate who then turned it around and pushed tempo and so forth. So again, young players, please take the time to actually work on individual skill sets. And coaches, please spend some more time than you do practicing a little man-to-man, a little help, a little recover, a little go over the screen, go under the screen. I don't care how you do it, but there is just a lack of the teaching aspects of basic basketball. I see a lot of plays, but none of them are run right. So Coach Adams is still here. Coach Adams didn't get dumb overnight, but when the Olympic team loses to Nigeria and whoever, and the select team struggling, I'm looking backwards and saying, well, how are they being developed? And man, we need to slow down with the plays. And don't get me started on everybody calling timeout every 5 minutes to say nothing. Coach, I'm going to give it to you because I feel better now that I got that off my chest.
I say this. I say that there was a problem before COVID, and then COVID just made it worse. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's not a lot of teaching. The very, very, very high programs, selective programs, Keith Stevens at Takeover, they're teaching. Okay, those guys, Ray Brewer and the guys he has, they're teaching. Takeover is teaching. Mid-Atlantic Select is teaching. Not a lot of AAU programs are teaching. They're not. And that was before COVID. So COVID limited space in the gym, limited time for guys to work. So what you see now is a lot of guys, they just practice the plays, and there wasn't a lot of time for skill development. Not saying that they would have done it anyway, where I agree with you, because as a coach, I see it all the time. Not that they'll do it. People are dribbling basketballs and catching bean bags and stuff like that. Like, that relates to the game. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, make the drills. Like, when I did skill training, the drills always ended with a shot, because in the game, your offensive move is for you to create space or get into position for a shot. So if you stand there and dribble it 85,000 times just in one space, you're not going to do that in the game. But if you speed dribble, retreat dribble, crossover, speed dribble, then you got to take a move across through and get to the cone, boom, 2 dribbles, and you pull up. That's a game situation. So, and you don't see a lot of that. 3D training does it. I will say Josh does it at 3D training. I like Josh a lot. I've seen his workouts. I used to share the gym with him when I was doing mine. So I agree with you on that. But I also think that COVID has allowed kids to do what they want to do anyway. They just want to show up and play, and allow parents to live on that, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't want to be, and I tell you, we talk about this all the time. I'm not trying to be old man, get off my lawn. I am so happy that kids can get out and be active. But when you make that leap in terms of, I don't just want to do it for recreational activity, but I am attempting to do what only 3% of the population can do, and that is play a college sport. That's when I say, hey, let's dial down some of the extra and let's build up. As a coach, there were 12 things I did at every practice, and I only did it for 1 minute at a time. It was called 12-minute offense, which evolved from what was called 7-minute offense, and it's strong side drive every day. It's weak side drive. It's jab step jumper. It's catch and shoot. It's ball fake dribble shot, ball fake drive to the hole, shoot off the screen, pick and roll, drop step middle, drop step baseline, up and under middle, up and under baseline. You're going to do that for 1 minute every day, because that teaches you the fundamentals, because at the end of every shot, it's going to be one of those finishes, no matter what. So yeah, I'm sure you enjoy the tennis ball, and I saw one drill where a dude was jumping on some plank or some box and holding the dribble. And, okay. But again, I have said my piece. I'm sure I'm going to say it again. And thank you all. Shout out to all my former players who can hear coaches rant and say, I know just what he's going to say.
Yes.
And we'll be right back after this.
Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CCA Safe Project, is releasing a book this fall called Finding the Balance: My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. The goal of this book is to give greater insight into student-athlete motivation to improve student-athlete academic and athletic success through the lens of Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic journey, from being an underperforming student-athlete to an academic and athletic leader. This book is also designed to be a guide for student-athletes, parents, teachers, coaches, administrators, and anyone else who has a passion to help student-athletes succeed academically and athletically. You can pre-order your copy of the book directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. This book is scheduled for release in the fall of 2021.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. And for our last segment today, I wanted to get Coach Franchize's thoughts on the return to play in terms of college football and the NFL. There are rumors and reports that some conferences are looking at teams forfeiting if they have COVID outbreaks for those players who are unvaccinated, as well as NFL teams having those conversations about teams forfeiting if players who are, to my knowledge, unvaccinated start an outbreak. Coach, tell me your thoughts on those types of punishments. Are you for or against it?
I am completely for it. I believe it should be done. We had this talk several times. I'm not going to steal your thunder about the things you commented on, so I'm going to save that for when you said it. And when you do say it, and I agree with you. But I think that, for instance, my son, being where he is, they're required. Before they were required, they had to do testing daily when they went in. Even if they weren't performing, they had to show up to get tested to make sure they weren't carrying it or anything like that. I think it's very important. This whole thing about it's my body, yeah, but again, you have an employer, and if your employer says you need to have it, you should have it. Now, that means if you don't want to follow the guidelines, then maybe you could be terminated. I mean, it's simple. Like on the bottom of my contract at school, no matter what job I have, it says in very small print, and other duties as assigned by. Like that's it. Like, so it don't matter all this up here. I'm signing to be a teacher. I'm signing to be a mentor. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And then on the bottom it says, as well as other duties as assigned by. So at the bottom, they might say, hey, well, you know what? This semester, we need you to go into this tech ed class. Or this semester, we need, such as Miss such and such is pregnant, or Mr. such and such is sick. You've got to, can you do this Algebra 2 class? You got to step up. If they come to me and say, hey, you guys got to get, you have to get the vaccination, then I'm gonna have to get the vaccination. I mean, it's not hard. I think it's just the thinking is kind of crazy, and to me, like, I don't want to put my family in jeopardy. I don't know what they're thinking, but again, I don't want to steal your thunder. So please, 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 tell me your feelings.
Well, to quote Forrest Gump, I'm not a very smart man, but I do know a few things. There are seatbelt laws because based on statistical data, they said this is what we need to do, and there's no outrage. You just wear your seatbelt and hope we don't stop and have other issues. To physically go into a school and be a student, there's a series of shots that have to not only be taken, but be updated. I actually got a love note from my son's school system that says, hey, he's entering insert grade. Please make sure you have these updated shots and whatever. Again, that's what was asked of you. So for an entity that is a private entity, the NFL is private, and for a public entity, public schools, the public, to attend insert University of Maryland, insert whatever, you have to have certain shots and so forth to be a student. That's what you have to do.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, for this multi-million-dollar operation to work and fund and provide employment and provide local revenue for the colleges and the universities and provide revenue sharing for the 32 NFL teams, if the employer collectively bargained, of course, because look for the union label, said this is what's needed to make that go, and if you as the individual are the one to cause it, one, we're going to publicly say it because we're a public entity, and two, man, I don't think I want to be the dude that keeps insert person from making that bag.
Right.
So I have no issues with any, again, collectively bargained action. CKA often talks about our leadership model. It's structure, which are boundaries. And usually the boundaries are huge. You can run in between the boundaries, but then at the end, okay, you went too far. Discipline, which is simply accountability measures. If then situations need to be created in everyone's life. That's why my son makes his bed every morning, because if he does not, then these things occur. And okay, it's clear, it's free, I understand. And then support, high help. Hey, let's provide education. Let's let you know how this works. Let's bring in the experts. So as long as those things have taken place, I got no problem with them saying, okay, then you've got extra to do. And if you, as a person, causes this to occur, it's going to have an effect on everyone else, because we can't move the game to Tuesday, move the game. We got media partners, we got contracts, we got all of these extra things.
Hey.
So, hey, man, it is what it is. And please, you could be mad. Don't take my money then. Don't take my money. Feel free to go home. And because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of players last year chose not to play and no one yelled at them.
No.
So if it's a bother to you for whatever reason,
don't play.
Then stay home.
That's what, you know what my slogan would be? Hope I ain't cut you off. Will you finish?
No, go right ahead. I can't wait to hear your
slogan. My
slogan
would be get vaccinated or go to the CFL. I'm you know me, I'm short with it. I don't have a lot of time. You know what I mean? So I don't need a long conversation. I keep it short and sweet, and this is where it's going to be. or it's not. Like I can't go back and forth because you're not going to change my mind. Not at all.
Absolutely, man. And I think that is a wonderful way to stop it. I don't know if that's going to be a T-shirt because we don't have clearance from the CFL. But yeah, again, a lot of entities are involved in both college and pro athletics. So the machine's going to go whether you're ready for the machine to go or not. And with that being said, we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Coaches Odd, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share the Odd Coaches Podcast. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CCA Safe Project. And don't forget to follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchize, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CCA Safe Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasafeproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.